Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce. And Joyce, we get to predict more guilds today.
It's the two big ones.
The PGA Awards and the SAG Awards are this weekend. We're recording on
There's
Wednesday.
also costumes. Don't forget about those.
We can maybe we'll do those at the end quickly, I guess. We don't want to leave them out. I was like, maybe we shouldn't do them. Who cares? But we care, so we should do them.
You should be a completist.
Yeah. Big guild weekend. We could watch the SAG Awards on YouTube. Are you excited?
YouTube.com/Netflix.
Yes.
Right?
I got to say, after the trials to try to figure out how to watch the Critics' Choice Awards back in January without cable TV, not a show that they really want you to watch, it seems, because it was impossible to find, but I was able to do it.
I haven't watched that in years, honestly.
I had a live blog at Joyce, so I had to watch it and had to do it through means I can't even remember how, because I don't have cable anymore, and it was not streaming.
When did you cut the cord?
2 years ago, maybe. It just is. I was like, it's too much money. But then I'm like, I'm already spending all this other money and all this junk that we have, the streaming services. So
we just need one streaming service with all the streaming services.
Would be great. Apple should just do that. Apple should come up with a TV. Here's a $1 million idea. Apple comes up with a TV that has.
They should just reboot Apple TV.
Yes, and have it be a big subscription thing. Joyce, before we go into our predictions, you were telling me about this interview that Academy CEO Bill Kramer did with Time.
I can't believe you missed this yesterday.
I missed it. You know why? Because I saw him do an interview with Letterboxd on a podcast, and he was like, "Oh, Lupita
of course
Nyong'o."
You would read the Letterboxd one first.
Yeah. I'm targeted to my own, my social media sphere, I guess. But in that one, he was like, Lupita Nyong'o should have gotten a Best Actress nomination for Us, and he should say that, and he's right. In this one, he talked about the two Leslie brouhaha. Once again, we're still talking about this, Joyce.
Every week, there's something else. But again, to be fair, he's being asked about it. So
of course,
he's not like getting on his soapbox to talk, and he's doing his job and answering it.
So the question was, do you expect similar word of mouth and social media fueled campaigns to spring up next year? And this is Bill Kramer, the Academy CEO's response. Social media is and can be a great leveler with campaigning. I want to make sure now that I am the CEO of the Academy that our regulations are much more clear about our expectations for how people will promote their films. But I think social media is a space where, if used properly and in an ethical, kind, fair way, is a great leveler. I think it can be a good thing. We just need to put some guardrails around that and talk about our expectations and our rules and regulations in ways that are clear. It can be confusing, and the Academy needs to help guide the way for equity and how people promote their films.
A lot of words. Word
Certainly
salad.
It's never been more clear than just reading that. I mean, it was such a succinct answer.
How many times did he say great leveler?
Twice.
Is it just twice?
How many times did he say confusing? Or just once or twice? Seems like so. My takeaway from that was going to be shrug tweets ? That was basically
like people have their own social media accounts. They can tweet, post whatever they want.
And it seems like they probably still will. The next question was, this is a great sequence. I'll just read it. Speaking of equity, The Woman King was snubbed at the Oscars, including Viola Davis. Director Gina Prince-Bythewood had talked about that. Maybe you've read this. And Bill cuts in and says, I had lunch with her 2 days ago.
I wonder where they went. He didn't say. But
then he later says, I love Gina. I consider her a new friend, someone who's just brilliant. And I think she got to the heart of a lot of the cultural and societal concerns around all of this. The Academy wants to make sure that people are thinking about films and performances and all the disciplines that go into movie making in a very equitable way. There's that word again. In our industry, there is sometimes a resistance to looking at certain roles and genres as being award worthy. As an Academy, we work very hard to ensure that our members see and engage with them. To Gina's point about not a lot of people wanting to see The Woman King, because Academy members didn't think it was, quote, the sort of film that they should be considering. We need to break down those barriers. The film was remarkable. It was a critical success. It was a commercial success for the same reason Top Gun is being considered a Best Picture candidate. The Woman should be in that conversation, as well as many others. That's a pretty good answer.
I mean, that's fair. We talked about this, like 3 weeks ago, whenever she wrote her op-ed. It's just, you need to normalize more a variety of people in front of and behind the camera for the general public, and the Academy members. And this, ties in with what he said about Lupita, and how she should have been nominated. It's like, people also don't regard horror as a proper Oscar vehicle either. So
Mia Goth said that this year. She kind of got that kind of conversation got left behind because there were other pressing concerns. But she was definitely one of the early adopters, it felt like, of that this year, at least. Joyce, the other thing he says here that I thought was interesting was he says, for the same reason Top Gun is being considered a Best Picture candidate, The Woman King should be in that conversation as well as many others. You can read that as a variety of ways. Is he saying The Woman King should be a Best Picture nominee, or is he saying The Woman King and many other films should be in the conversation about the Best Picture nominees? In which case it just didn't get in. It's a great non-answer answer.
He's just basically saying it should have gotten nominations, which is what people are upset about.
Sure.
So, and yeah, like it was in the conversation for Best Picture. It just wasn't getting any actual nominations in the run-up to it. That just kind of took it out of the running, and then it got 0 nominations altogether.
Next time he does one of these, I want somebody to ask, and you kind of do this with the Lupita one too, even though I totally agree. But the follow-up would be, what should have not gotten nominated then in your estimation, and see what he says.
What did you vote for?
Well, or just like, hey, like obviously The Woman King didn't get nominated because 10 other movies did. It's not like there's just a space where it was left out. So what is the movie he thinks that maybe shouldn't have gotten in that got in?
He would tell you that off the record, okay?
He would never answer. He would say, oh, well, maybe we should have 11 nominees next year.
But this is what everyone says on the record. Everyone should be nominated, right?
Yes,
like Michelle Yeoh last week is like, we all should have Oscars.
Yes, love it.
That's totally fine too, because everyone should be rewarded for their work, but there is limited space in these categories, so people are inevitably gonna get left out. Movies are going to be left out. So
yes,
and then there's people who don't look at a film with an all-Black female cast in the same way as they look at a film headlined by white cis hetero male. So
that's true. So that's Bill Kramer, Joyce. Anything else we missed? The other thing we talked about this on Sunday night when we did our BAFTA recap, but really picked up steam was the Angela Bassett Did the Thing intro from Ariana DeBose, which just tickled me to no end.
I mean, we said it wasn't too.
It was just great. I loved it so much. They had the BAFTA producer came out and defended her and was like, she came up with the whole bit on her own. It was wonderful. I love that defense. That was a great defense.
That interview was great because I just feel like you should just be embracing it. And no one was actually hating it. It was cringy, but fun. It's the kind of thing where you're just like, I don't know if you should have done this, but I'm so glad you did it.
The look on Ana de Armas's face is something I'll never forget. And
like all of the reaction shots.
Hers is particularly, I found to be, I was like, that is an Oscar nominee right there. That is why she was Oscar nominated this year. That face alone was worth the Oscar nomination to get her in. Just an incredible, the explosions behind her eyes as she's having to watch this and listen to it is just, I just can't even. It's the best. Love it. They should have Ariana.
It's also great because when they cut to every single person she references, it seems like they're all like in a different place. It's like, how like a group photo when people are at the same event, but it seems like they dressed up for different events.
Yes. every person has a different
but like the good thing is now, Ariana, it seems like she's coming around to it and enjoying it. Like she just storied something today because someone made a did a thing joke because they were seeing her somewhere. So she restoried it. She left a comment on Evan Ross Cass's Instagram saying like she honestly loves this. So I know everyone was like, oh, she deleted her Twitter. She must hate this. But it probably did sting initially. If you're just like, this is just me projecting. But like if, you were expecting everyone to be like, yes, like you go girl. And it wasn't that reaction, obviously, at all. But
no.
It's just, the internet having fun.
It was great.
There's no actual hate here.
Do you think it's a total online thing? So it has no, like, I feel like people walking down the street.
Oh no, real people have no idea what this is. Yeah.
But it would be just delightful to see this at the Oscars. I was like, can they, like the Oscars would kill to have that kind of moment.
I mean, obviously now if Angela wins, then everyone's just going to tweet the clip again. Like she did the thing.
When she announces Kyu Kwan for Best Supporting Actor at this year's Oscars, will she say Kyu Kwan did the thing?
Mm-hmm. She should. That's what you need. You need to just go with it. That's what you do.
She should definitely do. That's how she should announce the winner. Kyu Kwan did the thing. He's an Oscar winner. I mean, just can't wait. I can't wait to see her at the Oscars. I'm so excited about this whole thing. It was just wonderful.
She should just perform it again. That's how they should open the show. Because in the interview, Bill also said they'll have a lot of live performances.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There's one. Jimmy Kimmel should just be sitting there, right, just checking off a list. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna do our predictions now, Joyce. Let's go. The Producers Guild are first, so let's do them first. This should not take very long. We predict 8 categories. It looks like 9 categories.
I feel like everyone is going to have the same thing.
Yes,
for the most part.
Okay, so Best Picture, Joyce. The nominees again are Everything Everywhere All at Once, Top Gun: Maverick, The Fabelmans, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Avatar, Tar, Black Panther, Glass Onion, and The Whale.
Incredible list.
Goodness.
How did they do this?
I was thinking, you know why The Whale probably got nominated beyond just that it made people cry, is that it's a producer's story because it took like a full decade to come out or to get together. And like you need a producer who's going to stick with that movie to get it made. And it's not an easy movie to make because of the subject and the limited appeal. And that it came out and that actually did well. I could see it being a movie that producers liked. I guess that was my rationale.
Sure. But there are millions of films that take decades to get made.
I have Everything.
I also love the 4 sequels, of course. So
yeah. Well, the 4 sequels are pretty good. I have Everything Everywhere All at Once winning.
And Top Gun in second.
And Top Gun in second, yes.
I think that's what like 99% of people have.
You have that as well.
Obviously.
So
I haven't changed a thing.
Neither have I. I still have all. I have everything here is 2-1 odds for me because I did it the first minute it was live. And
wow, look at you.
They're all 2-1 odds. I just can't predict Top Gun yet to win. I would love for it to win. I think it could win, and if it's going to win,
I would only want. I want it to win, just to keep things interesting. So we'll have different winners everywhere.
And it very, very easily could win, but I just don't see why Everything Everywhere All at Once would lose. I guess.
Well, this is on a preferential ballot. So everything it's won so far, Critics' Choice, and then all the other Critics' Awards, regionals, like that's just a straight vote. So, but this is the first preferential ballot test for everybody. So it's, yeah.
It remains an idea that this is a polarizing movie. I'm not sure it super is.
No, well, I think, based on its suboptimal performance at BAFTA, just one win, you might think that it's in trouble, and also that it didn't win picture or director at the Globe, so it's probably lacking international support, but it's always had a lot more American support. And PGA is also very broad, which also helps, something like Top Gun too, and they care about money. Both of these made money, and yeah, so I guess it just depends on how low the Everything Everywhere detractors rank it. Because I also can't see Top Gun getting a lot of low votes.
So I think
low rankings.
A bonus for Everything Everywhere here is, as we just said, this list of nominees is wacky, and I think it's not going to be very low based on, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a very easy way. There's a lot of movies that you can imagine would be at the bottom here before you get like all behind Everything Everywhere. I think it's going to be like, even if it's not 1, it would be like 5.
Yeah, but it's also like you could also just hate the movie and be like, I'm not voting for that, I'm putting it in 10, like The Whale made me cry. So I think it's hard to say. I think, to extrapolate just from how we perceive the Oscar race to be, it's easy to say like, oh, The Whale is dead last, or like Glass Onion is dead last. But individually, you don't know how people feel about those movies themselves.
Right.
So they might love Glass Onion or The Whale, and they might hate Everything Everywhere.
Right.
you know.
So if Top Gun wins, do you think anything else could win, first of all, besides those two?
I have Banshees in third because I think that has a lot of passion, like more so than The Fabelmans.
Same.
But I think it's probably those two.
What about Elvis?
Elvis, I have in fifth.
Same. If it's Top Gun wins, what do you think then? How are you gonna
That'll
go
be great because it'll make everything more exciting.
and then how are you gonna think that'll affect the race?
I don't know if I would still predict that at the Oscars yet. I think I would still want it to see it win like WGA, which it absolutely could.
I think you could too. But
so
it wouldn't. I still have Top Gun in second, I think, at the Oscars too. So I'm not like it would not surprise me. I think a lot of people would move it up to second if it won PGA. I'm sure a lot of people have moved.
I think some people probably have it in second too. I have it in third at the Oscars.
Right.
But I know, some people have probably also moved it out of their top 4 or 5 after BAFTA with All Quiet, which is not here.
Yeah, I think probably people went hard on All Quiet after BAFTA, but I'm not sure. I still don't believe
if All Quiet were at PGA, do you think it would win?
No. I'm not a believer in that movie beyond BAFTA. I'm a believer in it winning like 3 to 4 Oscars and certainly a lot of below the line stuff, but like I can't imagine a world where it would win Best Picture. I'll eat those words, I guess, in 2 weeks if it wins. But it just would be it would be completely shocking to me. It's a movie that I think, to me, like especially as we've seen over and over again, I do think you need some level of passion to win Best Picture, and I just don't think people are incredibly passionate about the movie itself. All Quiet, I'm talking about.
I'm trying to think of if I know any regular person who's seen it, and I don't think I do.
It's like, like, can you think about one? This is all anecdotal, and I'm sure there are people out there being like, All Quiet is great. I love it so much. But I'm like, can you think of one movie in like the last 10 or 15 years that has less like passionate fans?
Its passionate fans are the Brits, so
and are artisans too, right? Like I think it's like a lot of the craft. Like I think the craft.
The crafts thing is different because you're looking at the craft specifically, but like you're talking about the picture as a whole. But
right,
I don't know any regular person who's seen it. I think some of it is it's anti-war, so that's top of mind currently, and I think it's a very handsome film. And like you said, the crafts are great. But I think it's just kind of a film, I think, in general, where you're just like, wow, that was really great when you're in it and you come out of it, but maybe you feel less passionate about it over time. Like it's not a bad movie at all. It's just, I think, like in the moment, you're really immersed in it. It's hard not to be. It's a war movie.
I mean, looking at what won BAFTA, I'm like, it speaks more to me that BAFTA and maybe international voters are just not as high on Everything Everywhere, more than All Quiet being.
The Brits are just like traumatized by World War I, so it's like
I don't know. I'm just like, I just don't think so I don't think it would win here if it was here, and I don't think it will win at the Oscars. And I think Top Gun could win here. But until Everything Everywhere loses one of these, I'm not going to predict against it. So that's it. Should we do the next category here, Joyce? We have animated feature. This will take all of 2 seconds. The nominees were Pinocchio, the Puss in Boots, Marcel the Shell Turning Red, and Minions, The Rise of Gru. I've seen people suggest that maybe Puss in Boots could win here because, again, its producers love that money.
Still making money.
It's still making money. I'll tell you why it's still making money. There's not one single movie to take a child to. In Hollywood's infinite wisdom, they decided, what if we didn't release movies in theaters that kids want to see? And then wonder why people don't go to the movies. It's great.
Did you take your daughter?
No,
to
I didn't see her. Last Wish? No, because even that I wouldn't. I'm like, nah, she's not that into it. But I wish there were options. Anyway,
we need her Oscar picks for animated.
I
Has she
don't know.
seen
She's
any of
not
these?
seen any of these. She saw Marcella Shell twice, I think. So,
Twice. Wow.
but anyway, I'm going with Pinocchio here.
What else is there to do?
Nothing. Documentary, Joyce. The nominees are Fire of Love, Nalvani, All That Breathes, Descendant, Retrograde, The Territory, and Nothing Compares. No, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed. I think Fire of Love and Nalvani are now one, or should be 1-2 in the Oscar race. I have Fire of Love winning.
I do too.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know.
So a producers award again, Producers Guild. I don't think it always comes down to the money, but this was a significant documentary success theatrically for a documentary. So it made like $1 million. And then it's on Disney Plus, and it's the most, again, like it's like a very watchable mainstream
Yeah,
movie.
and it's sad. You know.
Won at the DGA. I think it wins here at PGA and then goes on to win at the Oscars. That's my prediction. So the producers PGA Awards do TV, Joyce. So we'll do those too. You ready? TV drama. White Lotus, Better Call Saul, Severance, Andor, and Ozark, and I have the White Lotus winning.
Yes. I wish it could be Better Call Saul, but no.
Doesn't seem like it would be, but can you make the case?
It's the best drama series here. Also love the White Lotus competing in different genres everywhere at the top guilds, because it's in drama here. It was in comedy at DGA, and it's still in limited at WGA. Also in drama at SAG. So
strange.
Elaine.
Comedy series. The nominees are Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Only Murders, Hacks, and Barry, and I have Abbott Elementary winning.
I do too. I would love my fave Barry, but no.
I have Only Murders in second. The Bear is in second in our odds, though. But
I don't even know what I have in second. I have the Bear. I have Barry in third.
Limited series. Nominees were Monster, The Dropout, Pam and Tommy, Obi-Wan, and Inventing Anna. And I have
a list.
I have Monster winning.
I do too. I don't even know how I feel about it. I have The Dropout in second. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like Dahmer's the most popular one.
I think you can make the case for all 5 of these, including Inventing Anna, if you really wanted to. But I do think Dahmer wins because it's the most popular one.
Yeah. I don't know. So.
TV movie, we went from one barn burner category to another. The nominees here are Weird, Prey, Fire Island, Hocus Pocus 2, and Disney's Pinocchio. I actually have Prey winning.
I do too.
It's second in our odds. I have Hocus Pocus in second. I'm overthinking these things, but I actually do think the degree of difficulty from a producing standpoint should factor into this. And I think producing Hocus Pocus and getting everybody back for it was pretty complex. So I have it in second.
You know, I love Hocus Pocus OG. I didn't even watch this one.
People did, though. It was.
I know. I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just saying I didn't even watch it.
Prey rules. Did you watch it? It's really good.
No.
Great Predator movie. Loved it. And then TV variety, the nominees were SNL, John Oliver, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. I have SNL winning.
Yes.
And then reality series, RuPaul, Lizzo, The Voice, Top Chef, Amazing Race. And I have RuPaul winning.
Same. I did think about Lizzo because she won the Emmy, but
I have Lizzo in second. And I could see that happening too. But until RuPaul is going to lose, I feel like I'm just going to keep RuPaul in. And then finally, best nonfiction series. George Carlin's American Dream, Lucy and Desi, Stanley Tucci Searching for Italy, 60 Minutes, and 30 for 30. And I have George Carlin's American Dream.
Same.
So I think we have matched completely on every one of these.
And like all of these are first in the odds too, except for TV movie.
So,
right? Because I think Weird isn't first in that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So where are we going to be wrong?
We can be wrong in the top category.
Yes.
Doc.
Yes.
Limited,
Mm-hmm.
TV movie.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll see. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about everything everywhere's Top Gun, but I mean, Top Gun could really win. I think it'd be more interesting. It's like less interesting talking about who's going to win and more interesting to see what happens, who wins to me.
yeah, that's why I want Top Gun to win, because we'll have more to talk about afterward.
Certainly.
Because I'm already kind of expecting Everything Everywhere to sweep the guilds.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. SAG Awards, Joyce. We'll start with film and then do TV. We predict them separately. So film. We have 6 categories. We'll start with the big one, film ensemble. The nominees are Everything Everywhere, The Banshees of Inisherin, The Fabelmans, Women Talking, in Babylon. And I have Everything Everywhere winning.
Yes.
Would be an absolute shock, I think, if it did not win at SAG.
It's in real trouble if it does not win this.
Even before it became like the juggernaut frontrunner, I had it winning SAG.
Like we all knew it was going to win this at SAG.
This is like in September and October, I think we knew it was going to win SAG. So I feel like it is absolutely going to win. And if it doesn't, then it's a huge red flag. Just many red flag emojis.
This should be the safest thing for it to win. Like it already won DGA, but that was still kind of up in the air until they actually won it, you know?
Now, what would Banshees is in second? I would
I had
expect
Banshees in second.
that would
I mean,
win.
those two got 5 noms.
So that would win seemingly if Everything Everywhere did not.
Yes, I just it that also, I think it does have a lot of passion behind it. That's I mean, we did very early on talk about like how it felt like the kind of film that would get the individual noms but not
Yes.
ensemble. But it was clear that people were very passionate about the performances, especially Barry. So when I decided to predict Barry for the nomination, I was like, I have to predict an ensemble because there's no film that's been nominated for 4 individual actors that didn't make ensemble.
Right.
So it did. So I do think that even though it did not win Best Picture at BAFTA, I do think it's still top 2 in the Oscar race. So I do feel, spoiler alert, I don't have Banshees winning anything at SAG, which I feel bad about, but I just don't know where to predict it to win.
Right.
So
for Best Actress, the nominees are Michelle Yeoh, Cate Blanchett, Viola Davis, Danielle Deadwyler, and Ana de Armas. And I have Cate Blanchett winning. We've talked about this a lot. Michelle is first in the odds, Michelle Yeoh, but I have Cate winning.
I do too. She's the only person who can sweep now. Michelle winning would, again, just like Top Gun winning PGA, Michelle winning SAG would keep things interesting.
Yes.
Even though I do think Cate is winning the Oscar. But it's still, another talking point for the next 2 weeks.
Yes. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that she could.
No, like she's totally, this is the closest race here.
But like I've said, I don't think we besmirch the members of the Screen Actors Guild, the 30,000 after member, whatever it is, the huge number of people.
160,000.
I just don't think Tar is that obtuse.
It's not even that, but I think they also love and respect Cate. This is her 17th nomination. They voted for her last year or nominated her last year for Nightmare Alley, when literally and I think it is a very actor friendly performance. It's not a very baity or like actressing role. Like it's not hammy or anything like that. It's actually kind of subtle, but I think the way, she has like a lot of lengthy scenes, like the opening monologue and everything, but like the way she plays it and just really fully embodies the character. I think you're just left kind of in awe of how she does that. And I, Lydia Tarr, like a real person. And I think if you're an actor, you do kind of respond to that. And maybe you're also just kind of like, I want to roll like that, like
right.
I want to Lydia Tarr, like that's the dream. And then, the argument for Michelle, obviously Everything Everywhere, the populist movie, SAG, the most populist group, and also the most socially conscious group. And also has like, I think it appeals to the youngest demo too. And obviously they have AFTRA, they have influencers who are members to the kids, the children. So I think that can help her. And it is the more overtly emotional role too, and that's something SAG has always responded to.
Yes, the thing I keep coming back to is that I think if Tar was slightly different movie, I think Michelle would just steamroll here. I don't know if she would win the Oscar, but I think,
oh no, you mean like if Tar was more like chilly?
Yes. But I think they're like you're saying, like the younger members of SAG too and SAG AFTRA, like it's like influencer culture. I'm like, Liddy Tar is like a meme. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like it is a meme movie. So
she's the moment.
So it's just this like Kate has enough of all the different buckets, I think, to pull it off. I don't know.
Yeah, I think people, or especially in the fall, people were maybe like anti-dicting Tar or thinking it could be like another Power of the Dog, and it's proven it's not, even though obviously Power of the Dog got 12 nominations last year.
Right.
But I think people have formed more of an attachment to Lydia Tar than they ever did to any of the characters in Power of the Dog.
Definitely. For Best Actress, this one will be another tight race. The nominees are Brendan Fraser, Austin Butler, Colin Farrell, Bill Nye, and the God Adam Sandler for Hustle. And I have Austin Butler winning.
Same.
Brendan's still first in the odds. A24
putting out... That does not surprise me. So.
Putting out all the stops this week, Joyce. The Whale is on VOD. And today I saw on EW a behind-the-scenes look at how they did the makeup.
That's more of a FYC for the makeup team than for Brendan.
Certainly. But it's also, let's get this movie out there, maybe. SAG voting ends Friday, I believe. So it's still...
Yeah, they have 2 more days. So here's the thing. They've been voting for more than a month now.
Yes.
How many people do you think vote right away? How many people do you think are waiting until this last minute to vote?
I think a lot of people probably vote right when they get it, just to get it over with. And then I think there are other people who wait for the last possible second, and there's nothing in between. I'd say it's like maybe like 60, 58% vote right away, and 42% wait till the last minute.
So you don't think there's anyone who uses the 4 weeks in between to watch movies they haven't seen?
No, because there are not that many movies here, and I don't think anybody has not seen these movies at this point. I think if you were not going to watch these movies, you're not going to watch them at all. Mm-hmm. If somebody who hasn't seen The Whale is just not going to watch it.
And also The Whale is because like A24 was kind of so secretive with it. I don't know like to what extent with voting bodies, because I think they did eventually get screeners out, especially, I mean, they did for sure to the nom-com. But I think that was like a screener that people wanted to get. Yeah. So they could see it and vote. And,
it's been proven as a movie that people want to see, regardless if they want to see it and talk about it. This is the best spot for Brendan to win, obviously. I think we've talked about this has been like a spot where he would win if he's going to win anything. But also Austin Butler feels like a perfect win for this group too. And I think he will win. I just think the enthusiasm is there for him. He has been all over the place. And people love actors playing real people. It remains a great way to win an award.
Yeah. The two of them fulfill SAG's biggest impulses, like the transformation, playing a real person, and also the transformation, like physical transformation, like in Brendan's case, that's also highly emotional.
Yes.
Role. So as I've said before, I have Colin safely in third.
Yes.
I would love to see him win, but not counting on it. I never had him winning this at all. Like I always thought it was between Austin and Brendan, and I always had Austin because I had him winning the Oscar. And now that he also has BAFTA in the bag, I'm just like, just sweep, like except for Critics' Choice.
I think so. This is like Best Actress. This is one I could easily see being wrong. If you told me when we do this on Sunday night and it's like Brendan Fraser and Michelle Yeoh are SAG winners, I would be like, kind of not unexpected, but I'm not predicting it.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing like with for me, like if Brendan wins here, I'm still gonna do Austin. I'm not changing Austin at the Oscars.
No.
So, but yeah, I think it's just between the two of them. I don't know how has Austin moved up since Sunday
In the Oscar odds or in the SAG?
in SAG.
Let me look. Oh, see if that worked. He is rising. For predicting this, about 1,600 people have Brendan, and now over 1,000 have Austin, and Brendan is falling as we speak. So,
yeah. I mean, again, like similar to actress, I think people are waiting for this to determine how they will predict the Oscar category.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
For supporting actress, Joyce, the nominees are Angela Bassett, Kerry Condon, Jamie Lee Curtis, Stephanie Sue, and Hong Chow. I have Angela Bassett winning.
She's gonna do the thing.
She's gonna do the thing.
Yeah, I don't expect Kerry to win this.
If Kerry did win this, Oscar winner Kerry Condon would be in our future, I would say.
Yeah, but I also don't think Kerry needs this to win the Oscar. Like, I think the BAFTA would be enough for her if she were to go on to win the Oscar.
I agree. What if Jamie Lee Curtis wins this?
Sure, I have her in third.
I have her in third too, but I almost thought of moving her up to second instead of Kerry. I could make a really strong case for Jamie Lee because we know how her narrative is equally as compelling, I would say, as like, you know, Angela is certainly is a beloved actor, kind of like finally getting a shot here to win. And they obviously love Everything Everywhere more than Black Panther.
I think Jamie can split votes with two people, her co-star Stephanie.
Yes.
Who also has a lot stronger appeal to the younger crowd with her character, and then also split the veteran vote with Angela. And
so that's also how you end up maybe with Kerry Condon winning at the Oscars, because the same group here is the nominees, right? So you could easily see Jamie Lee Curtis siphoning votes off of Angela Bassett and also off of Stephanie Sue, or Stephanie Sue siphoning votes off of Jamie Lee. And then everybody's kind of like in the same group, and Kerry Condon wins by a very small margin. This is a category I wish they would release the numbers for at the end, because I think it's going to be the thinnest of margins, whoever wins. Well, Angela also has the weaker film of those three. Yes. So it's like, I just think it's going to be very, very close. I mean, I don't know what the close, like, what would you like in the end? Like, this could be separated by like 100 votes or less, basically, between first and second. You're talking about the Oscars? Yes. Yeah. I think it can be that close. Yeah. It could be. I don't. Yeah, because I think I think people like Angela's performance, but her momentum is also mostly on narrative. Right. You know, like it's not as acclaimed as her performance. Like it is like on the internet and by fans, but like critically, you know, it doesn't have that backing, right, like some of these other performances. So I don't even know if she's won anything on, let me check Metacritic. I know Kerry has the most. I think you could argue the same for Jamie Lee Curtis. Anybody, yeah, but she actually won a couple regional. Right, but people I know who like are not hot on the movie think she's not great in it. Yeah, and like she's also on narrative too. Right. This remains a great category. I love it. I mean, it is, again, it was great that Kerry won BAFTA because it keeps things interesting. Yeah. So Kerry has 18 wins. This was updated yesterday. Okay. JLC is in second with 6. Oh, actually, well, she has okay. So Jamie and Stephanie are tied for second. They both have 6 wins, tied for 40 points. Kerry has 75 points. And then Janelle Monáe. Remember? Yeah, I mean, she would have done
Her Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery. She also had 6 wins, and she has 37 points. And then Angela has 4 wins and 31 points. And then Hong Chow has 1 win and 21 points.
I guess we'll see. I mean, I'll keep Angela Bassett here to win, but I'm not.
I think SAG was always the safest for her.
Yeah.
We've talked about this, like how, there was a point where I felt like she would be snubbed at the Oscars, but she would win SAG, like Emily Blunt.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the Black Panther cast won last time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think this is, even if she goes on to lose the Oscar, I think this is the safest for her. But then if she wins this, then she has 3 of the 4 precursors.
Most major pundits are still predicting her at the Oscars, including me, even though I would love to switch to Carrie Condon. But I think if she wins SAG here, it would be hard to go against her, Angela, at the Oscars. I guess we'll see. Because like you said, I think, like we've said, I think once you've just seen winning things, you're just expected to win. Even, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think, like, if I just go back to last year, Best Actress, that Jessica Chastain, that's not the best Jessica Chastain performance. And the movie wasn't even particularly well liked. And she still just steamrolled because she was just winning. And I think you could see a similar thing
she only
happen.
started at SAG. It was SAG that started it because she lost the Globe, the Twitter Globes.
Yes.
So it was SAG, and then Critics' Choice was after SAG.
Right.
Same day as BAFTA.
Right.
And BAFTA was 0 for 6 with overlap, which was great. Right. So she couldn't win BAFTA.
Right.
Yeah. So she just won the last 2 things right before.
Which mattered, I think, because people are just like, oh, I guess she won. She became the front runner. Supporting actor, Joyce. The nominees are Ke Kwan, Brendan Gleeson, Barry Keoghan, Paul Dano, and Eddie Redmayne. And despite Barry Keoghan's shocking BAFTA win, I have Ke Kwan.
Yeah, he should still be able to win this.
I'm not worried about him winning these at all, and I'm not worried about him winning the Oscar at all. I'm sorry. I just can't imagine him not winning. It would be just a tremendous upset.
He should be fine. And like, as we've said the other day, he has the stronger film than Angela too, if you were gonna predict an upset at the Oscars.
Yes.
But yeah, like he's the fan favorite of the film. And again, narrative, SAG loves narratives.
Yep.
So I think he should be good.
Me too. It's just, there's just way too many reasons for him not to win. I'm sorry. I'm like, no way. I can't take seriously that he would lose. And at the Oscars either. I just can't. And then for stunt ensemble, Joyce, the nominees were Top Gun, Black Panther, The Woman King, Avatar, and The Batman. And I have Black Panther winning.
I have Top Gun.
Top Gun's first in the odds. I was torn on this because what do they consider stunts? And when people are thinking of stunts, what are they thinking of? Maybe they don't care. They're just going to vote for their favorite. And Top Gun is obviously probably a SAG AFTRA member's favorite movie of this group, I would argue. But I don't know. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is a lot more stunty, traditional stunts, like fighting and running and jumping and swimming and all these different things. Top Gun, they're flying planes. It's great, but I don't know. Do they count the football
that's
scene?
still stunts. That's aerial
stunts. It's aerial stunts, but what do they count as the stunts, I guess? Or what do they think when they're voting for this? What do they think?
Last year, No Time to Die won.
Right, but that's like fighting.
Cars.
There's a lot of fighting in that, like physical, like running and jumping. It just feels like I don't know what they're considering stunts. So I'm going to go Black Panther rather than Top Gun.
I mean, I thought your argument was going to be that Black Panther won last time.
Well, it won last time. That's another reason why to do it. But I'm saying like those are the kind of stunts in my mind that usually win this. And aerial stunts are amazing. And Top Gun stunts are ridiculous. But unless the stunt is like Tom Cruise jumping out of Jennifer Connelly's bedroom window, there's not a lot of physicality in the movie. The football scene is great.
I don't disagree. I think it's also the more popular movie.
So that could very easily win just because maybe people don't even think about this. They're just gonna be like, you know what? I love Top Gun. Let's vote for it.
Yeah. Like they didn't even nominate the Black Panther cast this time. Like last time it was stunt ensemble and the acting ensemble.
Right.
So Yeah, like the last couple. So Wonder Woman won twice for both of them.
So
Um,
that's another reason why Black Panther.
and then Endgame won Black Panther. So we've had like superhero stuff. And then Hacksaw Ridge won, so that's war.
Yep.
So, and then Mad Max won.
I just think Top Gun is first because people
Um,
love Top Gun, and it makes sense. If it wins, I would not be surprised. But I'm just like, I'm not going to go with it. I'm going with Black Panther. So
Unbroken won. Remember Unbroken?
of course, it was a big movie. I remember going to see it and being like, here's a Best Picture winner, Unbroken. Let's put her on the cover of EW with
Angie.
Jack O'Connell.
Lone Survivor.
Yep. A lot of running in that, falling down hills. I hate that movie. I just hated watching it. It was just an impossible watch. I remember watching it being like, this is just misery.
Skyfall.
Skyfall rules.
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Great.
Inception.
Great.
Star Trek.
Sure.
The Dark Knight.
Great.
And the first winner was The Bourne Ultimatum.
Great stunts. Beautiful stunts, Joyce. Black Panther Wakanda Forever would fit nicely in there. That's all I'm saying. In that list.
If you're going to make me choose between the fighting stunts, I would choose The Woman King.
Me too, but I don't think that could easily get into, and they gave Viola nominations. I would say actually that.
I mean, Viola has an automatic nomination.
But I'm just saying, like, they obviously like that movie too. I would not be surprised with The Woman King either, but I just don't think it's going to be Top Gun, I guess.
Why not The Batman?
There's some fighting in that, and it's a great movie, but no, I don't think so.
It should really be Avatar for the Tulkuns.
That'd be great. Give the whales a SAG award.
Yeah. I hope they got their nomination certificate. They better.
I want to see the Tulkun, or how do you say it?
Tulkun.
Tulkun and I am an actor, and I am a whale. I want it to be in the opening.
Oh, please. They should they better do that. I am a whale.
And I am a whale. TV,
they should do
Joyce.
Kate. Oh my God, get Kate. Kate can open it with I'm an actor. Kate Winslet with her BFF Tulkun.
It would be great.
We should program this.
Netflix, call us. That was the movie. So we agree on everything but stunts. So there you go. For TV, Joyce, let's do these. There are slightly more. There are 9 categories here, I believe.
But still no supporting and no ensemble for limited.
First up, drama ensemble. The nominees are White Lotus, Better Call Saul, The Crown, Severance, and Ozark. And I have White Lotus.
Yes. But it should be Better Call Saul.
I have Better Call Saul in second. White Lotus is, I would say, the most cast, and it feels like that would help it win.
It is. That doesn't matter, but it's also the most popular show. So.
For Best Actor, a drama actor, Bob Odenkirk, Jason Bateman, Adam Scott, Jeff Bridges, and Jonathan Banks. And I have Bob Odenkirk winning.
I'll probably keep Bob just out of loyalty, but I can totally see Jason winning this for a third time.
It would make sense. Ozark is a popular show.
I love Ozark. They were the early adopters of Ozark.
Yes.
He's won twice. He's the only one of the cast who's won here. And I could just see them going back to him. And this category is pretty open. So just like when he won 2 years ago. So, yeah, like I don't think Jonathan Banks would hurt Bob at all. Like I think if you're gonna vote for a Better Call Saul guy, you're just gonna vote for Bob. Like I love Banks, but come on.
Yeah, I think so. And part of it again is like kind of like the same thinking why I have Angela Bassett winning too. And though I think Bob on Better Call Saul is a much more beloved performance overall, even if the show is not like their favorite.
Well, he's also the lead.
But I'm just like, people love Bob you know what I mean? Like you're voting not just for the performance here, you're voting for the actor, and everyone loves Bob Odenkirk, and actors love Bob Odenkirk, and even like SAG after board ops love Bob Odenkirk. You know,
they just don't love him or the show enough for it to win anything. It's just.
But maybe this year they do. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. I just think people.
All it wins are Critics' Choice Awards, but nothing with the industry. So I don't know. I think the the smarter choice is probably Jason, but I'll keep Bob because I have to go down with the ship.
Nice.
I can see Jeff winning too, honestly, just because like
Great narrative.
veteran, like beloved, another beloved star.
And a fabulous narrative.
Yeah.
For drama actress, the nominees are Jennifer Coolidge, Zendaya, Julia Garner, Laura Linney, and Elizabeth Debicki. And I have Jennifer Coolidge winning.
I've gone back and forth on this in my mind a lot. I think it's between Jen and Zendaya. So we have 3 reigning Emmy winners here. Jen, Zendaya, and Julia. I think I will keep Jen just because of the recency bias. She has the new season, the most recent season, just, you know, memes up the wazoo. And Euphoria didn't get into ensemble, not that that is, you know, a full demerit on Zendaya, who could just win on her own, as she's proven before at other places. And I was thinking about how, like, does it matter that like Jen is supporting and like Zendaya is a lead? And I don't really think so. Like the last 2 years, we've had supporting actresses win this. So I think if they just love you or love the show or love the performance, they'll just go for you. It doesn't matter if you're supporting. And White Lotus is like ensemble anyway. And I think Matthew Stewart timed the season, and Jen still had the most, even though they were all, you know, pretty on par. And I think people, since she was in the first season, people's kind of view her as the de facto lead anyway. So I think she can win. And then Zendaya, yeah, I have her in second. And you know, I guess if you're predicting Zendaya, you'll feel emboldened by Sam Levinson's DGA win over the weekend. But its Gil performance has run like hot and cold too. So I don't know.
I don't disagree. I think Zendaya is also beloved but I think the recency plus the memes are going to help Jennifer win here. That's basically it. I think it's a coin flip, but I do think the coin ends up on Jennifer Coolidge's side.
Yeah, and then she didn't win last year when they were in limited. She lost to Kate Winslet, which was not surprising because Kate was sweeping. Right. So I guess if you feel like you were upset that she didn't win last year, think you'll vote for her again this year. I don't know.
Yeah. For comedy ensemble, Joyce, the nominees are Abbott Elementary, Only Murders, The Bear, Hacks, and Barry, and I have Abbott Elementary winning.
I do too.
Just a great ensemble. I don't see, honestly, how it would lose here, frankly, but I guess it could.
Yeah, I think I guess it's not really new, but it's like the first year it's here. So it's kind of like, I think it's basically competing for 2 seasons. So it's new, but not too new for them. You know, like they've been acclimated to it. Obviously already had an Emmy run. So, and it's just, you know, charming and nice.
Yeah, just seems like a perfect winner here. For TV comedy actor, the nominees are Jeremy Allen White for The Bear, Bill Hader, Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Anthony Carrigan. I have Jeremy Allen White winning.
I think everyone does.
Any chance Bill Hader wins? He's in second.
I would love to see it. And I do feel good about him being in second because Anthony got the surprise nomination just completely out of nowhere, the Jonathan Banks of this category. You know, it was like I controlled the nom-com or something.
Maybe he did.
I know. So yeah, but I think I feel like Barry is not broad enough for SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah, I also think the newness helps, right? For Jeremy, like the show being new and like kind of like a new shiny bauble that you're paying attention to.
Yeah. And it's, again, it's new, but not too new because it dropped in the summer. So they've had enough time to watch it and everything.
Next is TV comedy actress. The nominees are Quinta Brunson, Jean Smart, Christina Applegate, Jenna Ortega, and Rachel Brosnahan. And I have Quinta Brunson winning.
I have Jean.
Wow. We split.
I can see them because sometimes they just do repeats.
Very much so. They're not the most adventurous group, it seems, a lot of times.
No. Remember Alex 7 Pete?
Yes.
Iconic. Will never be replicated. But maybe like ultimately it means nothing. But I think most people were predicting more than 2 nominations for Abbott Elementary. I mean, I know there were definitely people who were predicting 3 Abbott slots here.
Yes.
Right. So, and it just got Ensemble and Quinta. So, I don't know, maybe like they like the show or like the ensemble as a whole, but not individually enough. I feel like at the very least, Shirley Ralph could have gotten in here, or especially Tyler James Williams, who had no really votes, but no offense to Chris Perfetti. But like I feel like he probably should have gone in. Or if you're predicting it, you would predict him before Anthony Carrigan,
Right.
if you're going to predict a supporting actor. And yeah, Jean beat Quinta for the Emmy. She did beat her for the Globe, but that's not industry. So I don't know. I could see Jean just winning another one.
I mean, it would make sense. You've almost convinced me to switch. Maybe I will before Sunday. It would just be like a rubber stamp, I guess, right, for them.
Yeah, and I don't know. It kind of it's like when like the Maisel cast beat Fleabag.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think like Christina is a dark horse.
I thought Christina was a dark horse too. It would be a great moment for sure.
Yeah.
And I think her performance is amazing under the circumstances, and that should qualify her for any kind of award.
Incredible.
And they should really just honestly give her a special award just for that performance. But
it's so cruel that Linda Cardellini is also not nominated, because they were both like, neither of their performances work without the others.
No.
So I hope they both make it in at the Emmys.
Yeah.
One last time. And then Jenna and Rachel, congratulations to them.
Yes. For TV, movie, miniseries, actor, limited series, the nominees are Evan Peters, Paul Walter Hauser, Taron Egerton, Steve Carell, and Sam Elliott. And I have Evan Peters winning here.
I do too. And I don't really have anything to say.
I have nothing to say, but I will say if Paul Walter Hauser won, I wouldn't be surprised. He feels
I
like
have him in second.
Actor's actor. I just think like he would win, but I also think Evan Peters is like beloved, and it's such a great.
It's just the most popular show.
Right. So it's like, I think that helps. Nothing else really to say here. For TV movie mini series actress, the nominees are Amanda Seyfried, Niecy Nash-Betts, Julia Garner, Jessica Chastain, and Emily Blunt. And Joyce will be so happy to know I finally have Amanda Seyfried winning for The Dropout.
You've stopped going. You've stopped anti-dicting her.
Multiple shows in a row, I've gotten this wrong. So I assume I'll get it wrong again, and Niecy Nash-Betts will win. But I have Amanda winning.
Amanda doing the full sweep.
I think so.
Yeah, I think, the fall didn't really produce a potent challenger for her. I think maybe people were expecting Jess to be one, but I don't know.
I was.
Niecy, I think she could. I have her in second. I think she could win on just the popularity of the show.
I thought that too, and also I was like, her speech at the Critics' Choice Awards I found really, really moving and awesome. The only problem is no one watched the Critics' Choice Awards, so I don't think it had a great impact on her status as a nominee here.
Maybe I don't think that matters, because I think she has friends, like fans.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But it helps to get the
so
speeches out there, and no one saw that one. But she was great. It was a great speech.
I think the speeches are just for viewers, I don't think, and like the people in the room. So
I have Jessica Chastain in third.
do you only have Amanda because they snubbed Lily James?
No, I have her because I picked against her too many times in a row, and I just gave up. And I'll probably get wrong again. But I'm just going with the odds.
It is funny that they just said no completely to Pam and Tommy.
Yeah. And finally here, stunt ensemble on TV. The nominees are House of the Dragon, Andor, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, Stranger Things, and The Boys. And I have House of the Dragon.
I do too, only because Game of Thrones never lost.
So there you go. I have Lord of the Rings in second.
I have Andor in second.
So we differ on what? None really. I'm gonna convince me to switch to Gene Smart basically, and
You're gonna switch to Gene.
And then what else? There's nothing really else that we split on. Yeah, there we go.
I don't know. I feel like all the favorites could totally win all of these categories, like in film and TV, and then it'll be very boring.
Yeah, it could. I mean, it's hard to make a case against it, but like I said, if it happens, I'm not surprised, but I'm like, nothing here would be a total shock if the ones we think lost or win will lose, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know what I would be totally shocked by. I guess like if Jonathan Banks won.
I would be shocked if like Winnie won Best Actress or something, like that kind of thing.
That'd be cool because then she won't go unrewarded for the show. And I don't know. I mean, they do love The Crown, but I think they nominated it appropriately this season.
Yes.
So
Joyce, more guilts here before we say goodbye. I have next on my list the Golden Reel Awards. It's for sound
editing.
Yes. Okay. First up is sound editing dialogue, ADR. The nominees are Top Gun, Elvis, Everything Everywhere, The Batman, The Banshees of Inisherin, and Empire of Light. And I have Top Gun.
Same.
Great dialogue with Maverick with a mask on. That's what I kept thinking.
Flight dialogue is so hard.
Yeah. Sound effects editing and Foley. The nominees are Top Gun, Avatar, The Batman, Everything Everywhere, Nope, and Jurassic World. And I have Top Gun winning here as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Sound editing for music. The nominees are Elvis, Pinocchio, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, not to be confused with Robert Zemeckis' Pinocchio, Tar, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I Want to Dance with Somebody, and I have Elvis winning.
Same. I wanted to put Tar in second, but I have Pinocchio in second.
Mm-hmm. Animation sound editing, Pinocchio, Puss in Boots, Lightyear, and DC League of Super Pets. I have Pinocchio.
Again, not Lightyear.
No. Documentary sound editing, Moon Age Daydream, Goodnight Oppie, Louis Armstrong's Black and Blue, and The Territory. And I have Moon Age Daydream.
Yes, music.
Love music. And foreign film sound editing, All Quiet, Bardo, Triangle of Sadness, EO, Argentina 1985, and The Quiet Girl. And I have All Quiet.
It would be shocking if it lost.
And there we go. That is our sound editing awards there.
This is another one where all of these
are favorites.
Yes.
Next, I have Costume Design Guild. I think that's the only other one this weekend, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's take a look. For period film costumes, the nominees are Elvis, Babylon, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, The Woman King, and Don't Worry, Darling. And I have Elvis winning.
Same.
Fantasy costumes. The nominees are Black Panther, Everything Everywhere, Avatar, Hocus Pocus 2, and Thor Love and Thunder. And Joyce, I have Everything Everywhere winning.
I do too.
Black Panther is favored here with Ruth Carter, but I think Everything Everywhere has proven strong as a guild force the whole year and will remain so.
It's a guild fave. It's also an Oscar nominee as well.
I also thought I talked to Ruth Carter, Joyce, and she said something interesting. Even though she's Ruth Carter and the costumes of Black Panther are great, she was like, I didn't, and I actually believe this because a lot of people say this, and you're like, I don't, you expected it, but she was like, I didn't expect it because it's a sequel, and I think she like knew that it's tough coming from when you won already for a movie and then you do the sequel, you already did it, right? So it's like it is not the easiest thing to like overcome that. I've seen it before kind of feeling. And so I think the nomination is great that she even got nominated is like wonderful. But I do think Everything Everywhere has like the newness factor here for this. That's why I have it winning. And that's why I don't have Black Panther winning at the Oscars either.
Yeah. And I think it's like, even though Ruth obviously made new costumes.
Yes.
Like, there are new characters in the film, but and also a new Black Panther costume too.
Yeah. And you should watch the interview I did with her. It's great. She had a lot of detail on all these things. She's an incredible artist.
She's awesome. I've talked to her twice.
I only talked to her once.
Yeah.
She's amazing. And the costumes are great. But
yeah, Everything Everywhere, I think it's just a guild fave. It won ADG over Avatar.
Yes.
Not even nominated at the Oscars. So
for contemporary costumes in film, the nominees are Glass Onion, Tar, Woman Talking, Top Gun Maverick, and Nope. And I have Glass Onion winning.
Same.
Love those costumes. Should have been an Oscar nominee.
It's just like the first one all over again. And contemporary costumes, they don't get a fair shake.
No. Bill Kramer, add that to the list of things you're complaining about. Contemporary costumes, give them a fair shake. TV period costumes. The nominees are The Crown, Bridgerton, Gilded Age, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and Pam and Tommy, and I have The Crown.
I do too, but I can see Maisel winning and Bridgerton.
Yes.
And Gilded Age, really.
So. Great category. I just think the Crown one is always, it just seems like so, there's a lot of great Diana costumes in this season, and they're recreating iconic looks.
Yeah, and I feel like it's also recent history, or like more recent history. I mean, I know Pam and Tommy too, but like this is a, like stuffy British kind of costumes. So
TV fantasy, House of the Dragon, Lord of the Rings, What We Do in the Shadows, The Witcher, and Westworld, and I have House of the Dragon.
I do too. I thought about What We Do in the Shadows. But yeah.
Next one, TV contemporary costumes. The nominees are White Lotus, Cicely, Wednesday, Emily in Paris, Euphoria, and Hacks. And here I have Wednesday, Joyce, instead of White Lotus, which is first in the odds.
I think everyone has Wednesday.
Somehow first in the odds is White Lotus. I don't get it.
It's just like hot people on the beach in bikinis and caftans. So, but I think Wednesday is more costumey. With like the goth styles and everything. So
yeah, it's great. What's next? Let's see. Variety reality costumes on TV, Joyce. I have RuPaul's Drag Race, Beauty and the Beast, Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls, SNL, and Dancing with the Stars. And I have RuPaul's Drag Race winning.
I'm going with Beauty and the Beast here.
Nice. I had in second. So we separate on one here. And that's it, Joyce. Those are all the guilds this weekend. All the guilds that glitter gold. I don't know what the saying would be.
I mean, costumes and sound editors obviously the most important. So
we'll see. I think so. I think it should be a big weekend for Everything Everywhere. If it's not a big weekend for Everything Everywhere, I would start seriously considering something else for Best Picture. That's my main takeaway.
It should be fine for SAG ensemble.
Yes.
But yeah, like once again, you need PGA to prove that you can win.
I just think if it was gonna, I understand the preferential ballot, and I understand people think it's polarizing. I just think if it was gonna lose Best Picture, it would have not won DG. I just found their DGA win like so indicative of like the strength of the movie. I think that
people love the movie.
People love the movie.
They love it more here than overseas.
They love the movie, and even if they don't like the movie, they love the the people involved with the movie. I think that's also a big factor.
Yeah.
Daniels are like rock stars at every one of these events. People love Kyu Kwan. They love Michelle Yeoh. These are just beloved people, and they've been everywhere, and they're like the most visible people of the award season. And I think that helps too. So even if you're like, the movie's okay, but I love these people and I want them to win, I do think that like plays a part.
I think it's also that it's you can make an argument as to who is number two. I think most people would say Banshees, but then you could also say the BAFTA loss was a knock on it. So like, is it All Quiet? But All Quiet is not a PGA. So it's just kind of nebulous as to what its direct challenger is. But also no one was expecting Banshees to win PGA because everyone's like, oh, Top Gun. But Top Gun is really just like a tech thing. You know, like no one thought that was winning BAFTA or anything. So,
and the other thing I was thinking was like, I mean, thinking about like I guess people would now like, it's funny, like before, certainly like in like November, we saw people like comparing Everything Everywhere to like Coda, right? Where it was like, going to be a surprise, but now it's more like, it would be like more like Power of the Dog because it's obviously the front runner and had the most nominations. But I think a lot of times when you see that, and when a movie like just thinking about last year, like Power of the Dog was the more accomplished movie, but people felt more about Coda and they just liked it more, even if they thought it was not as good of a movie as Power of the Dog. Here, I think like Everything Everywhere is the movie that is like, even, you know what I mean? Like the polarizing aspect of it. It's like, you're still feeling something, I think, watching it. It's not like, it's like a movie that wears its heart on its sleeve, regardless of its like polarizing nature. And I think that would go a long way to keeping it less polarizing than something like a Power of the Dog.
well, it's also always been the underdog, and it still is, even though it's on paper the top dog to win, because the thing was always like, you know, this like little indie movie that was a surprise hit, all Asian cast, and like, can it go all the way? So it always had that, and I think that helped because it never had a target on its back. It was like it had a rooting factor. And even, you know, with like these other movies faltering, like Fabelmans and like whatever, or maybe, you know, some certain movies that may not seem like they are able to win, like Banshees, even though it's great, you're still rooting for Everything Everywhere. Like it doesn't have like the big machinery behind it. You know, I don't know what kind of backlash it can really suffer. Like La La Land suffered backlash. You know, 1917 was a late breaker, but it also suffered backlash. You know, some people weren't into like the one take gimmick. And then some people were like, oh, is there like, you know, even like a message here or whatever, you know, at least like All Quiet, like it's anti-war.
Right.
You know? So I don't think like that's going to be a problem for any, you know, Power of the Dog. People like did not get it at all. And, you know, Coda was the perfect antidote because it was crowd pleasing, heartwarming, family drama. And Everything Everywhere is really the Coda, but it already is in position to win. Like no one has to discover it at this point. They discovered it a year ago.
Right.
So.
All right. So we'll be back on Sunday night, Joyce, to talk about this and see how wrong we were with our picks.
And then when all the favorites win, we'll have nothing to talk about.
It'll be a quick one. Be like 25 minutes. No, never 25 minutes. We talk too much. I talk way too much. But this was so much fun, Joyce. I'll talk to you on Sunday. Bye.